Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program, and I want to thank you for growing. Yesterday I was out and about a little bit, and I noticed there was something distracting me as I was trying to see, because I love to look at God's creations. I love to look at at the land, the water, the clouds, the sky, anything of God that God created. I just want to see it. And something was distracting me from seeing it. I mean, I knew it was there, but it's just a great big distraction. And it's called a fog. The fog was in the way of what I wanted to see. The fog was distracting me, but I know what was there. It's just like we know God is there, but we distracted by what's all around us. We distracted by all this chaos, negativity, and drama that's going on. But we know that the Lord is there. So we got to keep looking to the Lord. Even though you distracted by whatever's going on around you, you can't participate in none of that. You got to keep looking to the Lord. Keep looking, because it's there. I'm telling you, God is there. And what you got to do, you got to begin. Once you begin to remove that chaos, negativity, and drama from your life, you got to begin to change the way you think about folks. Begin to forgive and forgive yourself. I'm telling you, forgiving yourself, that's really the hardest part. Because, see, you can forgive folks and leave folks alone. You ain't got to fool with people. Just because you say, I forgive you, it don't mean you got to fool with them and deal with them, or ask for their forgiveness if that's what you got to do. You got to do it, people. Even if you don't forgive it, say it to the Lord, to the ancestors. Please forgive me. I don't want to fool with them no more. Please, that's all. That's it. Jesus taught us forgiveness. If you want to say that, if you believe in Jesus, some people don't. But if you believe in Jesus, Jesus taught you forgiveness. So just forgive, and there you go, and move on. And begin to change the way you think about your fellow brothers and sisters. Because look, God put on our heart to love. He did. He put on our heart to love regardless of what they did. I got some folks that did some stuff to me, and I forgive them. I love them. If there's anything I could do for them, I will. If the ancestors put on my spirit to do it, I will do it. Yes, I will. But it don't necessarily mean you got to fool with folks. Because some people just misery love company, and no matter they see you on something positive, they don't want to be no part of that. They still want to remind you and pull you back to where you used to be. But I'm gonna tell you something. Like I told you before, you better thank your past. Listen to that sermon. Thank your past. I sure thank mine, because I wouldn't be who I am today. Had I not went through all that oppression I went through, the oppression I put on myself. Besides what this country done. I ain't even realized. I'm gonna tell you something. In high school, I saw Roots. And I was angry when I came back to school next day, just like the rest of the kids. I was at an all black high school. We was some upset kids, and but all through my life, I thought Roots was like an isolated incident. I had no idea of the true impact until later, really later in life. And it's devastating to really know what your ancestors went through, and the fact that some people would prefer to go ahead and just bury the past. We can't. But see, we got to remember where we came from, because see, we always gonna remember. We remember every time we go outside. We know who we are. We reminded. But some people just want to say, hey, forget, no, forget it. But it's still going on. How you going to forget, how you going to forget racism, and racism still going on? How can you move past racism and racism still going, still happening? You can't move past something that's still happening. You can't. That's not the past. We dealing with this injustice and racism and things going on. People are in prison right now who don't belong there. Just because somebody said they did something, but there's no evidence. It's just somebody said something, and there it go. And I mean, it's injustice all around when it comes to Africans. And to sit up and deny something different, I don't know how you do that. I get how you see there's no racism in the Justice Department. It's just as plain as the nose on your face. But see, here come some different things getting ready to happen, people. Here come a new administration. Some different things getting ready to happen. Africans getting ready to rise with substance. We getting ready to come out from under this oppression. We the ice, we beginning to melt. The sun is beginning to heat. It's warming up. Don't be distracted by the fog. The fog is eventually going to go away. I'm telling you. It's going to go away, and you're going to be able to set your sights on the beautiful creations of God again and look to the hills, which come at your help. Look to the Lord. Don't tell people your business, because once you tell it, there it go. It's gone. It's just like 4:00 news. It's gone. Stop telling folks your business, what you got to do and what you plan on doing, and this, that, and the other going on in your house. That's your castle. You're royalty. Royalty don't do things that way. Royalty works out their own problem. They solve them. They decide what to do and to do it. That's it. I'm done. I done made my mind up. See, that's how you change your mindset. That's how you begin to think better. You begin to, I'm telling you, you just start thinking like royalty. You walk in it, you act it, you look it, and people see that. And I'm telling you, once you walk in and people see that, they get out your way. I'm telling you, and respect. You don't even have to say it. You don't have to say nothing. It's just the way you carry yourself. That's all. You carry yourself with royalty. And, I'm telling you, it's some people who bed bound, and I've thought about those people. I've thought a lot about those people when I used to watch the show, Dr. Now's show. I did. And my heart used to go out to them people because I suffered a back injury also. And at one point I thought it was going to be debilitating, but the Lord put on me that nothing is to defeat me. Nothing, not even my back. I had to get up and work through that back injury because I knew if I laid there, that could have possibly happened to me, and I didn't want that. But it's not hopeless. It's not, you don't have to give up. You just begin to eat less and begin to exercise as you can. Begin to change the way you think. Think of yourself. Put yourself in that position where you want to be a year from now. You want to be 100 pounds. I'm 100 pounds lighter. I'm already thinking, already claim it. Claim it in the name of the Lord. I'm going to be 100 pounds lighter. Whatever you decide you doing, just eat, begin to eat less, eliminate pork, eliminate fast food, because fast food ain't good for you anyway. It's not healthy. It may taste good and it may be quick. That's the reason, because it's not healthy. Boil you some turnips. Turnips are good. Boil you some turnips. Start getting with some vegetables like zucchini and squash. And put you a little butter and some seasoning and stuff on there. And just start eating a little healthier. Eat it and drink a lot of water. A lot. If you're gonna drink some soda, drink some 7-Up or something like that, or a little diet soda, just a little bit. Because soda not good for you either. All right, I love you. Walk in royalty. Be woke, be safe, and be blessed.